where do we go to next? Point.
We're going to head right over here to the south where some of my Oregon torreyas are growing.
Okay.
So right here we're on the southern edge of the forest before it opens up into a farm field. And along here is where the majority of the Oregon seeds I had germinated. I believe there's 8 or 9 that germinated along this section.
How many did you put in?
There's probably 200 total I planted out in the woods here.
And tell us about your planting style. How deep and did you protect them?
They were planted roughly 3.5 to 5 inches in some spots, but mostly around the 3.5 range.
Because of the herbivory that you've had early on, or the digging up or whatever, you really can't tell us what your experience with the Medford, Oregon fall 2016 harvest has been, because you can't tell.
Yep, I can't give you a full germination number just because I've come along sometimes and I'll see one, I'll go and get it caged, mark it like a day or two later, and it'll be snipped off or gone. I know for sure I had at least 13 or 14 germinate out of that batch.
Yeah. And I see there's a pink flag over there in the center of the picture, and then there's some more pink flags there. What are we going to see when we visit all those flags?
Well, the majority of the cages that I had germinated plants in were flipped over by the deer this late March, early April. I came out here in the middle of April and they had flipped over all of them in a row and actually eaten torreyas that were underneath.
Paul, tell me the story again about the deer knocking this over.
Yep, so all the cages along the southern edge in the early spring, they knocked them down and they ate all the trees. This one did not get knocked over, thankfully. This one germinated probably sometime in August of last year.
And when I look close at it, it's very healthy, but it's shorter than normal.
It is, yep.
But it was not a spring sprout, it was a fall or late summer sprout.
Yeah, late summer sprout, yeah.
But what is unusual here is that normally the next growth season, which is right now, it will either go up another vertical or more usually put out one lateral. To have 3 lateral buds getting ready to burst means it's really happy here. I think only once or maybe twice before have I seen 3 laterals as opposed to 1 or 2. So this south side, and I'll take a look now in both directions here as I come up. And so is this cage going to last, or are you going to have to do something?
I'm going to change it out and put something heavier now after that past experience.
Right. So I'm going to look down here. This is where we just came from, and none of those managed to either germinate or last. And then we're going this way. So for a total of 9 pink flags here, right?
Yep.
And do any of the other ones, they might have a chance to re-sprout, right?
Yep, we'll have to take a look, see if any have done it yet, but it could be a little bit later in the summer before they do that.
We have noticed, as long as they go in from seed, they can easily make another go at it, even if the whole thing gets taken down. They've got enough energy in the seed. So let's continue.
All right.
We've just walked a short ways, and another pink flag. Paul, tell us this one.
So this is one of the ones that the deers flipped the cage over. And the tree was probably about 3-4 inches tall before it got flipped over and nipped off. But no resprouting as of yet.
Yet.
Yep. It was probably about twice the size of the last one we just saw.
Yeah. So you've got, keep the flag in there and keep a watch, and
just keep watching.
Right. And if it does come up in the summer, the deer don't bother eating these things in the summer, right?
They possibly could.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it resprouts, they'll be getting heavier cages put up.
Okay.
Yep.
We've just walked, I don't know, 20 feet from the last one. But this one had a plant here last fall. Tell us about it, Paul, and what happened.
This is the plant that looked like it may have sprouted in 2017, and then it got nipped off, and then it resprouted and got nipped again. But by the end of last fall, it was probably about 6 to 7 inches tall. Wow. So it was really doing quite well here. But this is, again, one of the ones that the deer flipped the cage over and nipped off right at the ground.
So you'll keep a watch on this, but my hypothesis is that it just has nothing left over after a second attempt.
Might not, yeah, it might not after 2 times.
Yeah.
So this Torreya here, this is the one that was nipped off. It was probably about 6 inches tall, and then it got nipped down to about 3 inches, and it's since resprouted a new top, and it's almost corrected itself to the point that you can't tell it was nipped off yet.
Yeah, it's right in the center of the picture is where that darker green stem suddenly stops, and then you see this coming off at a bit of an angle.
It's probably about 6 inches tall now, roughly.
Yeah, and so when was the first burst and when was the second burst?
So this was one of the first bursts of the year that I noticed in late June, early July. And it was already nipped off at that point. So it may have been the first one to germinate here. And then roughly late July, I saw that it was starting to form a bud. And then by the end of August, it had already shot up this new growth.
All right, well, good learning experience.
Yep.
Yeah, and we're going to continue on. Wow, what's this gorgeous tree right here?
That's another swamp white oak.
Swamp white oak.
Oh, actually that's a white oak, that one.
Oh, regular white oak.
Yep, regular white oak.
Okay. All right, let's continue. And here's another one. Flags are still here, but here's another one that just got taken down this spring, like the rest of them. But I'll put in some of last fall's video now.
So this seedling is one of the ones that germinated in late August, early September, and they've already started hardening up and beginning to form buds. I'm not sure if they'll probably be more likely they'll break bud in the spring.
Yeah, and no rodent has gotten to that yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah, great. Okay, talk about this.
So this is on the southern edge of the forest. This one just started sprouting last week. So it looks like it's slowly starting to come out. Maybe it's waiting for a little bit more sun as the leaves fall, maybe.
And when did you start getting some sprouts in the spring, and when you've got a second flush now coming out?
Yeah, it was like midsummer was the first flush. Now the second rush is starting to come on now.
Okay.
Probably towards the end of August, early September.
Okay, Paul, what happened here?
So this one, a branch had fallen and broken it off.
And that's right at the tip of your finger there.
It is. It was probably about 1.5 inches, 2 inches tall when it got broken off. It was one of the second batch in late August that sprouted. And I spotted them one night, and then I had to get some cages. The next day when I came back, a branch had fallen off one of the trees and snapped it off.
Oh.
But it's still green down here, and it almost looks like it's forming a bud, possibly.
Oh, good. Okay, because I couldn't see that it was green. So we've just come from the last of the south side of the property there, and that's a big white oak. And I think last year I got some video, it might be pretty dark, of what had been here. So again, did they push this over and eat it? What was the deal?
Yep, they pushed this one over and ate it as well.
Okay, and you don't see anything resprouting?
Not yet, no.
And this came from seed?
Yep, this came from the Oregon seed as well.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so...
And then this is a hop horn beam right here. This
Oh, okay. Yeah.
one of the subcanopy trees you were looking for.
Hop hornbeam. What's the genus of that?
Austria.
Austria, okay. Then we got a witch hazel
Yep,
here.
witch hazel here, yeah.
And then here's the trail, and that's the swamp where I just took the picture of the fawn. But...
and it's off and running.
Oh, it's off and running. Okay. But if I've got some video from last year, we'll see how big this was before the deer got it. All right, Paul, what number is this in terms of the ones that actually germinated from seed this year?
This is the 6th one here. This was one of the later germinating ones. It had a basal sprout, and I don't know if it just died back because it didn't eat it or it got nibbled off. It's hard to say.
Now tell us, how deep did you plant these seeds?
Roughly 4 inches on average. Some got down to 5 inches.
Hey, that's a crane.
It is. We have
Sandhill crane.
Yeah, we have sandhill cranes all over. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Right now they're kind of grouping up, getting ready to fly south.
Yeah. So you say about 5 inches deep? Is it 4 or 5?
4 to 5. Yeah.
Okay.
The majority probably averages 4 that I planted them in.
Right.
Yep.
And some could take, 2 more summers before they germinate. And so it'll be interesting that we'll get a calculation on whether, you know, in your case, the 4 or 5 inches actually served as good rodent protection.
Yeah, I was surprised by the second sprouting when it started. I thought maybe the first round would be it for this year, but then the later sprouting in August, I don't know if I've seen too many plants sprout that late in the year.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was pretty interesting to see that.
Yeah. What's this one?
All right, this is one of the torreyas that's on the southwest part of the property. This one was ate off probably in early 2018, and then it sprouted back. It had 2 trunks, but it lost one. And it's got a terminal, and it looks like it's got 2 side buds starting to come off of it.
Wow, and which one's is the terminal's gonna come up first, right?
Yep, but the laterals are also forming right beside it.
Okay, so they'll probably come, oh, we are getting towards the second flush time.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, because we're past the spring.
Yep, so we'll start getting to the summer flushes of growth here.
Well, all those leaves look very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And what about this cage here? This cage doesn't look like it's going to do anything.
No, it's going to get replaced here.
Okay, and did it suffer? You say part of it got eaten.
Yeah, it had another smaller trunk, but that looks like it's gone now.
Okay. Yep.
So maybe it aborted it, I'm not sure.
Yeah. And so here's the trail where we are, and we're still by the swamp, and then there's 2 more pink, and one of them there is what I just filmed at before. So okay, I see another flag right there, but nothing's there?
No, there's nothing there right now.
Okay. So where are we headed next?
We're gonna actually head quite a ways through the woods towards the north, and then we'll find the last one that's above ground currently.
Sadly, this one, we called it the Discovery Tree last year, and I've got some video I'll patch in right now about it, but this is another one where the fence was pulled down by the deer.
Yep.
How tall was it last year?
It was probably 4 inches tall.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll paste that in. And this is the last Torrey free planted directly seed in the ground we're going to be looking at today. Tell us about this one.
So this is the Discovery Tree. This is the first one I noticed that had sprouted. It's in this section here where a bunch of ash and elm have died and fallen. So it got a lot more sunlight than most of the spots in this section.
That must have been pretty exciting. That was the first one that you saw.
Kind of passing by, and I said, that looks a little different over there. Something's coming up.
Wow. Yeah, getting the first one is always so exciting. Oh, I see you got another one. That's an interesting place to plant.
Well, it wasn't like that when I planted the tree fell.
Oh. All right, so we're heading out.
We're heading north, yep.
We're heading north. Okay, and that's it for the Torreys. Are we going to see anything else?
One more Torreya.
A seedling, though, that you planted?
No. I have one more that sprouted.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's got a basal sprout.
Oh, okay.
So this is one of only 2 that sprouted from seed on the northern part of the woods. This one actually developed a basal sprout as well. It's nice and hardened off, and it was from the second batch of late August germination.
Okay, and again, as we look up here, what's planted in that field?
Soybeans.
Soybeans,
Yep.
Okay. All right, we got some success here, Paul. What's this this one about?
This is one of the Oregon seeds as well. It germinated last year. I think this was an earlier one. I believe this one also had a second smaller stem that's gone. It looks like it's doing pretty well still.
So this one close up, it's really odd. It almost looks like there was a terminal bud that got snipped off, and then there's some 3 little buds coming out right atop of the leaves. And did it have a cage that was more substantial than that?
Just like this. This one wasn't bothered.
But you've got like a little fence of...
Yeah, I laid some sticks around it for the winter just to kind of see if that worked.
And it did?
It did, yeah. I don't know how well, though. It's probably only a matter of time before they would find it.
So what are you going to do?
I'll also put a heavier cage around this one.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, what's that, Paul?
So right here, it looks like the secondary buds are starting to expand. So it looks like it's going to shoot out some new growth here shortly.
On just one stem, is there a second stem too?
Nope, just one
No?
stem there.
Wow.
You can kind of see the ridges forming where it's
Yeah,
growing.
it'll be interesting as to whether it sends up a basal too.
Yes.
Or whether it just, but it can make new apicals coming right out of the edge.
Yep, they're coming.
All right. So walking a little farther down the road, here's that classic cottonwood. Is this a property boundary tree?
Yeah, it's right near the property boundary.
Yep. Yep. I remember this one last fall. Okay, this is flagged, but right near the road here, so full sun except all this vegetation coming in. And this one does have 2 replacements coming, one near the top, very near the top, and one kind of near the bottom. And it's got a pink flag by it. Paul, talk to us about what's happening here.
So this is one of the smallest seedlings that I had, and last year was just a single trunk that had all the leaves were nipped off on the ends, so it was kind of just shortened. But during some time from last year to now, it had formed a basal that also got nipped off, and now it has new growth coming out of the basal. And it looks like the main stem is still green and starting to form some buds on it.
Wow. So this was another of the small seedlings from Nearly Native Nursery.
Yep, that's right.
And I see in my close-up, I see another little bump of green coming out below the new basal growth. You can't see it, but I can.
Okay, it's on your side, okay.
Yeah. All right, here's the last one. And fortunately, see that little on the upper right? Top got nipped off, but there's a little bud that's going to grow, and the leaves below have been mostly nipped off. Oh boy. But the stem's green, still alive obviously. And then down into the ground and to the right would have been probably the original. But these things are hardy. So you're going to put a good cage around this one?
Yeah, I'll have to put a good cage around it.
Yeah. Okay, so now that's the last one, right?
That is the last one, yep.
Oh, okay. Out at the truck, because we got one last task to do here, talk about what those sad-looking torreys are there.
So these are torreyas I received from Clint Bancroft down in Tennessee. And as soon as I got home from, because Clint grows them in a semi-shade place, when I brought them home, it's kind of full sun where I keep my plants at.
And you drove your truck down there and back?
I did, yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So by the second day I went out and I kind of looked to go water them, and they had already bleached out in the sun, and they still maintain green on the bottom branches, but they haven't done anything else yet, and that's how they stayed all winter, just how I found them that day.
And do you have any sense that they're going to recover?
I have one at home that actually resprouted all along the trunk.
And did it look that bad?
It did, yes.
And you say you planted that one right away?
I planted that one right away. I didn't want to plant all of them because of the frost evil.
Oh.
I figured they wouldn't have enough time to get the roots down well, so I kind of potted them up and put them in the ground.
Right. So you're real hopeful about these.
I am. After seeing the other one, I'm pretty sure they'll be fine.
Okay. Well, I'll take a close-up of those eventually, but what's over here to your right, my left?
We have a few seedlings that we're going to plant out in the woods today.
And where did these come from?
These are from Niche Gardens.
And where's that?
It's in, I believe it's North Carolina.
Oh, and you bought them in these pots?
Yes, that's how they were. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to go close on these here. Wow. Do you know how old they are?
They're going to be a few years old. It's hard to tell because in the nursery or the greenhouse setting they can put on a lot more growth in a year.
Yeah, I bet they were from 2015 seeds.
Yep, more than likely.
Oh,
yes.
or no, maybe
2014, yep.
2014 or 2015 seeds.
Yep.
And then these back here, this was from oh, this is Clint.
Yes.
Oh,
but it was
right.
I believe it was from the same batch or close to that same year of seeds.
Yeah, he gets great growth.
Yes, he does, yep.
Yeah. And talk about that darling little Liriodendron, magnolia,
I got
tulip.
a few Georgia asters from Jack to try up here, and in one of the pots there was one of these Liriodendrons growing.
awesome.
So Jack said to try out the southern tree up there and see how it does.
Wow, and where did it spend its winter?
Right in this pot here.
And where did the torreys spend their winter?
They spent in the pots as well, but they were submerged in the ground a little bit.
Okay, yeah, because because otherwise they would like totally freeze.
Yeah, and I kept them on the south side of the house, so they were blocked from the northern winds.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so what are we going to do now?
We're gonna go plant these small ones in a couple openings and see how they do.
All right, let's go.
All right. Okay, I think we're ready.
4.
Is there 4?
Looks like 4. One super ready to go, and then a couple others that look like from the terminal. So now I'm doing a view of the surrounds. There's a little maple seedling I noticed coming in, sugar maple, and here's the torrey. We've got quite a few beech sprouts growing in here because here we have one beech trunk dead. This one's still very much alive. You can see a lot of the beech, American beech saplings here, but you'll also see there's a big tree fall of ash that was killed by the emerald ash borer. And Paul, it's fallen down within the last week or so?
Last week, yeah.
Last week. And on its way down, it brought another beech tree down over there and some other ones. So this area ultimately has an opening in it, and you can see another ash down. So the other thing we liked about this is we found real health on the south side. This is the cornfield side, right?
Yep. That's cornfield.
This year it's the cornfield. And the other reason we planted here is there's a south wind today, and so we could get out of the skeeters. Yeah. All right. So, Paul, you're going to come back in a few days and cage this.
Yep, and we'll cage this one up. Yep.
Okay. And the deer aren't too desperate this time of year, I imagine.
Right now they should be staying away from the torreyas.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. So here's another close-up. Wow, what a beauty. So, little Torrey, may the forest and not the deer be with you. So we planted the first one quite a ways back there by the tree falls, but we really needed to get out of the swampy conditions, and right here along the track looks good. Again, that's the south and the old cornfield there. And those are young ashes coming up from all the let's see what this looks like. All right, hold that out. Oh, wow, that looks good.
Yeah, it looks just right.
Wow. Yeah. Show me the bottom.
I'll even put the basal towards the south.
Oh, nice. I wouldn't have thought of that. That's good. All right. So I'll go in close and take a look at what we got. So here's the looking down on the apical, and there's 4 laterals that are going to come out later this summer probably. It's already got about 6 inches on that. That's came up already this spring, not here in Michigan, but before. And Got quite a good sprawl coming out. There's 2 very small basals. And so here's what we have in here. A lot of these ashes coming up from seed from just before all the elders were killed. But they don't look like they're too happy here, so we'll see what happens with them. Is this Austria or Carpinus?
Yep, Austria. Yep.
Austria here, that's nice. Another subcanopy species. Got a couple tree falls in here. And then that's a beech that is topped off long ago. Here's the trail, and here's the lovely south wind coming in, keeping us pretty much mosquito free. So we've got 2 more to plant. So we were just over in the center of the picture there. Here's along the trail. South wind coming behind me from the cornfield. And we're going to put the 3rd one in here, and then we have 1 to go. And I'll look up the canopy here. Again, everything here is deciduous. Deciduous canopy. This is a sugar maple right next to me here. Let's see from the leaves. Oh, and here's that Austria subcanopy right in the center. Okay. Let's see what this one looks like. Wow, you got some roots coming out the side there.
Yes,
Does that look pretty much like the other one? Oh, good. And
yep,
look at
the whole root
some of the soil is falling out.
Yep, it's all falling out.
Whoa.
It's a nice loose mix they got in there.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.